Hey everybody, welcome to Bestie Book Reviews. I'm here with my bestie Mandy.
And I'm here with my bestie Jessica.
So it is that time again. It is time for us to do our 1 minute book recs, or as we like to call it, our bestie book tea. This is where we go over all the books that we have read for the past week with 1 minute synopsises. Is that how we say it? Synopsises? It's difficult.
You ask this question every time.
Every time, I know. All right, so let's do this. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We are still doing our Road to 1K giveaway, and we are still giving away a copy of Elsie Silver's Flawless. This is in her special edition cover, and it is signed by Elsie. Whoops, I lose the page. There it is. It's signed by Elsie. And so we are giving this away when we hit 250 subscribers. You'll also get an extra entry if you like us or follow us on Instagram, and that is all linked down below. So Mandy, how was your reading week?
It was pretty good. I read 8 books and I had some good ones.
Yeah.
How about you?
It was pretty good. I had my camping weekend, so I was able to get in 12 books this week, but
Woohoo!
2 of them were technically trilogies, so we're just going to go with 8 because I'm going to talk about them kind of lumped together. And it was a pretty good reading week.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so do you want to start us off?
Sure.
Do you have your timer ready?
I do.
All right.
I've been ready for a few hours.
Shush!
Okay, my first book is Silas, and this is, I'm looking at my notes because it's by 2 authors, Lane Hart and D.B. West. And this is about Cora. She is hired to be a personal chef for this like mob boss guy. And while she's there cooking, some guys break in and start killing all the guards, and they kill him, and she hides in the pantry. And they come in and they're about to kill her, and another guy's like, no, just leave her. And then they hightail it out of there. Well, the cops don't really buy her story, and so they kind of start to pressure her and accuse her of maybe being involved in this. And so she ends up giving them just a little tiny piece of information to get the cops off her back, and hopes that these people who came in to do whatever, to kill her boss and everything, like, will just leave her alone. And so then, darn it, an FBI agent shows up at her doorstep and says, we're taking you into Whitpro, pack your stuff. And so she goes off with him, but he's not an FBI agent.
You're supposed to ask for credentials.
He had them. He flashed a badge and everything.
Then you're supposed to call your grandpa and ask him, who's a retired chief of police, and ask him to verify the credentials.
So this is the first, or no, it's not the first. It's in a line of MC books by, what are they called? Dirty Aces MC. And it was really good. It was 5 stars, and I probably will go and read some more of those.
Oh, I'll have to read that one if you gave it 5 stars.
Yeah, it was good.
Good. Awesome. My next one, not so much.
All right. Well, wow us. Try and wow us with it.
Okay. So the first book that I have is called For the Love of Whiskey. It's by Melissa Foster. It's got great reviews. Oh my gosh. First of all, it's told in third person. It is a contemporary cowboy kind of MC romance. And it's told in third person, which immediately pulled me out. But this is about Callahan, or as his road name is, Cowboy, and Sullivan. And she has been grown up in a cult, and she's escaped the cult, and she needs protection. And Callahan's family runs a horse rescue ranch, and they also help people, like a rehabilitation ranch, and they help people as well as belonging to an MC. And so they bring her to the ranch to take care of her. And he suspects that she's this missing child from back in the day that has gone missing, and nobody ever knew what happened to this little girl because she looks a lot like what the little girl would look like. So it was kind of entertaining with the fact that it's third person and you're trying to mix together an MC and a cowboy on a ranch. And I was like, I couldn't do it. Just couldn't do it. So it was just too much. So I give it 3 stars. I mean, it really, if it had been done in first person, I think it would have been way better.
Yeah.
So, I just couldn't do it. Yeah.
So for my next read, I really needed a palate cleanser.
Mm-hmm.
So I read a Kay Webster book. And if you're familiar with Kay Webster at all, you know she's not really the palate cleanser type. This is like a really short novella. So I was like, this is what I'm going to read. So do you want to hear about it?
Of course I do. I think I gave that to you for your birthday.
No, this one
What was that
came
one?
when I ordered from her.
Okay, so then that means I have that one sitting around here somewhere too.
Oh, it's a quick read. You should read it.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Step Scandal by Kay Webster. And it is about Lane. And Lane is like this perfect girl who does everything she's supposed to do. And then Carter, and they're step siblings, obviously. And Carter's just kind of a mess up. And he knows it. And he doesn't quite understand why he keeps acting the way he does, other than he just has a lot of pent up frustration trying to keep his feelings for Lane under wrap. So again, they're step siblings, and Kay Webster wrote this, so I think you know where it's going. Bam! I'm done before my time is up.
That was a good one. Good
Read
job.
it.
Okay. All right. Well, my next one's going to be really quick, fast, and in a hurry too. So the next book that I read was Illicit King by Maggie Cole. This was my convincing my bestie to read video book that we just did. We just put the video out. Mandy will link it below. But this one is an Irish mafia. It is the beginning of a new trilogy, or not a new series by Maggie Cole. And go see what we thought about it in that video.
Ooh, you were fast.
Can you hear my family?
No, but I could definitely see the side eye.
Because they're all out in the hallway talking. So, okay. Anyhow, okay. Hold on. We're going to cut this. You can leave that part and we're going to cut this part out. Hey, no conversations in the hallway.
I'm so leaving that in.
Okay, go on.
I forgot to mention Step Scandal was a 4-star read for me. And again, 4 stars for me is pretty high. Like 4 stars means I really, really like the book.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want people to be, confused about
everybody does it differently. And I think because you and I have both recently decided to really look at how we rate books, I think we get a little paranoid about that. But 4 stars is still a good read, like an enjoyable read.
I think there's been times, not recently, but there was a time where sometimes books, like if I still read it, I would feel bad marking it a 3, but Goodreads itself says a 3 is I liked the book. So 3 doesn't necessarily mean it's bad.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Exactly.
Okay, so my next book is Pretty Thing by J.A. Huss. This was a 4-star read. It's a brother's best friend, but it's with a little bit of a twist. So Callie and Kyle are twins, and they are in their 30s, and Kyle just died. Kyle's best friend, Aiden, and Callie and Kyle, the 3 of them have been really close through their childhood since they were 8. And Kyle kind of always said things to Aiden about like, you were my friend first, about in reference to like him having any sort of feelings for his sister. So when Kyle dies, Callie and Aiden obviously go to his funeral, and it's the first time they've seen each other in years, and they end up hooking up kind of like in this comfort mourning weird way. But they both decide that they kind of want more, but they have the presence of the brother kind of hanging over them, where Aiden feels all this guilt because he was Kyle's friend first. And so how do you work through that and get acceptance for something when your best friend is dead?
Just do it. He's dead. He's gone. No big deal. Just do it. Why you don't know what will hurt him. Done. Book closed. It's over. No, I'm not going to make a very good author. Okay.
Ready?
I'm ready. Nope, wrong side.
Oh, hi.
Hi. Okay, so the next book I read is actually a trilogy. The first one is called Claiming Vanessa, and it's by 2 different authors, Raisa Donovan and Addison Wolf. Book in the series is dark. And the authors actually tell us at the beginning of the book that the heroes in this book will not redeem themselves. They are not going to get better. They're horrible, horrible people. They just eventually learn to like her quite a bit, and she eventually, I think, gets Stockholm syndrome. So this is about Vanessa. So this is a reverse harem mafia. Vanessa's at her sister's wedding. The wedding gets shot out, and she gets taken by two guys. Giulio, who is the new mafia head of the rival family, and Damien, who is this consigliere guy. And they take her to the brothel because they do sex trafficking. They do all the bad stuff. And they chain her up, and they're like, well, you're going to be ours, and you're going to have Giulio's babies. And hey, let's bring our other buddy in here, Slayer, who is a bit of a mystery. And I didn't see the twist coming in that at all, where it comes later. And to say that it's like dark and twisted and rapey and all these weird, yes, it is. But I gave the whole series 4 stars. You would call me and I'm like, they're gonna talk to Mandy. So I love you so much, but I was so into these books. And this is like, there's another set of books, another trilogy that comes before this one that is the sister's story. And we hear a little bit about it throughout this book, but it's, you don't have to read the sister story to understand what's going on in this one. I didn't, but now I am. So, you know. So yeah, check triggers. Please check your triggers. Okay.
Okay, my next read, Jessica, is one of your reads from this week, too. It is Resisting Mr. Granville by Sam Mariano, which we did our buddy read with Amber Reads Romance and bookmarked by Jen. Mm-hmm. I will link the video below for that, as well as their channels. Okay, this is about Kennedy and Milo. It is an age gap romance, which normally I'm here for. The way they set this book up, it's her mom's boyfriend, her and her mom, the boyfriend, Milo, and her mom break up. And so then you assume something happens, but there's never any part of the book that explains why they have this connection. There's not even that they like have any conversations. Mm-mm. It just straight jumps into the sexual part of their relationship.
Yeah.
And that was just weird to me. There's a lot of twists during this book that were also we can't talk about, that also were weird to me as well. And you actually texted me and you're like, what the actual?
I did. I was like, WTF.
Exactly what part of the book she's at.
Yeah, and she comes back into his life. Because this was like over summer. Now we're in winter, I think, where she had the little affair with him when her mom was dating him. And now we're in winter, because Chuck's not wearing sweaters all the time, so it's got to be winter. And she's hanging out with the son, because he's got 2 kids. There's one in college and one her age, just a senior in high school. She's just a senior in high school. And she's hanging out with him because he needs to pretend that he's her girlfriend, or she's his girlfriend, to get another girl to like him. And so that's what brings her back into their world. But it's just, there's no backstory. Where did the attraction come from? It's Sam Mariano. So I was still here for it. I still read it. It was still good as far as like, the writing and stuff goes, but I need that context. And there was just some things that happened that I was like,
you actually told me when you finished it, you're like, do not judge Sam Mariano on this book, because this was the first book of hers I've read. Should we say what we rated it?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, I rated it 3.5 stars.
I did too.
Oh, okay.
That's what I gave it, because I enjoyed it, but it was still, I saw a lot of reviews referring to it as a train wreck. Like I read the reviews afterwards and I was like, that's exactly what it was, a train wreck.
Yes.
But it was like, you had to watch it though. You had to see it through.
It was like she grabbed a little bit from this trope and a little bit from over here and kind of threw everything together. The writing is really good. It was just that there was not the backstory that I needed
to know why are they
understand those two. And then there's something pretty big that happens in the book, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't even want to read this anymore.
It's like, what does this grown man see in this little girl? And she does act like a teenage girl quite often in the book.
Yeah.
So what does a grown man who has money, and what does he see in this child? It doesn't make sense. So, okay, moving on. What's your next book?
Oh, you want me to move on to my next book?
Well, yeah, because that counts as 2 for us.
Oh,
So
gotcha. Okay, I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go. So my next book is When the Farmer Met the City Girl by Jessica Kane. It is a novella. If you've read some of Jessica Kane's novellas, you know they're just pure smut. So you just have to know that's what you're going to be reading. This was a 4-star read for me. Bianca takes a shortcut trying to get home, and she ends up lost, and it's night, and she's going to run out of gas. And so she's like, well, I guess I'm just going to have to sleep in my car. Up walks the farmer.
Oh, geez, Louise.
And voila, she meets Farmer Dusty.
Up walks the farmer.
And once again, I beat my timer. I could not sit and just read smut novellas over and over again, but every once in a while, I love to read a good smutty novella.
I'm like sitting here thinking of like all the nursery rhymes with the farmers and the farmer in the dale, and did he wear overalls?
He did.
I can't.
But he only had one of them.
Of course he did. He was New Kids on the Blocking it, with the one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wonder if did it smell like manure?
No, there was no discussion of that at all.
Then it wasn't a real farm, apparently. So, okay.
It was very much.
Okay.
Okay, are you ready?
I don't know. That threw me for a loop there. Yeah. Okay. So my next book, I was actually we're going to call it a trilogy. I read Real. This is a reread for me. This is Real by Katie Evans. And then you have the second half. So this is a duet, Real and Mine by Katie Evans. And then the third book, which is Remy, is Remy's POV. He is our heroine or hero. And this is his POV of what happens in these 2 books. So I just read them all at the same time, or, just read them all. So this is an underground MMA fighter romance. So what happens is we have our heroine, who is Kate, and she goes to an MMA fight with her best friend one night in Seattle. It's an underground fight, and her friend is all about this Remy Tate guy, and Remington is his name, and he actually, when he gets into the ring, he sees her and he's instantly attracted to her. There's just something about her, and so she decides she can't handle watching the game or the fights. Once one of his is over, she decides to leave. He knocks out the opponent, jumps out of the ring, and follows her to get her information. He finds out that she is like a sports therapist. She has been an Olympian at one point, and she hurt herself in the trials and can't run. Finds out she's a sports therapist, and he hires her to come onto his team and be his sports therapist for the duration of their tour that they're doing these fights. And so there's a lot going on here. There are some triggers for some mental health issues. So definitely check it. This is one of my favorite reads, though. I love these books. I love their story and the way Remy loves her. I love it. Love it. They listen to Iris from Goo Goo Dolls. That's their song. And I'm like, they listen to it on their iPods all the time. Like iPods, so it must be an older release. But yeah. Yeah. So anyhow, one of my faves. Did a reread.
Right.
Good. Done. All right. Next.
Jessica.
What?
I'm going to go back to school and go into sports medicine.
Look. That you can't go into sports medicine just to grope people. It's not how it works.
Like Phoebe on Friends, where she gets in big trouble for the massage therapy.
Yeah, don't work so much.
Okay, let's talk about my next read.
Please, not your obsession with sports therapy.
Okay, my next read is Never Enough by Kelly Elliott. Woo, that's like a little bit of a tongue twister. Anyways, 4-star read. This is Cowboy Single Dad. It's Meet Me in Montana, first one in the series. Brock's wife died. He has a 5-year-old son. He is a bull rider, and he has a lot of guilt. Lincoln is leaving Georgia, trying to get out. She's in her 20s, I think she's 26, and she's leaving Georgia because her dad is very wealthy, and she finds out that her dad is the reason that she's had great success, because he's kind of bullied people into using her for her interior design company. And so she really just wants to feel like she can make it on her own. so she decides to move to Montana. She buys Brock's house, but has no dealings with Brock on this. And it's situated on this huge ranch that his parents own, but they like parceled off just the house and like a little bit of property for her. And so Lincoln meets Brock for the first time after she's already moved there when she's meeting his son. And they don't really get off to a great start because Brock has a lot of guilt.
Okay.
It was good. 4-star read.
Good.
I liked it.
All right. You ready to hear about my next one? This is the one I told you about.
Okay, yes.
My weird one. Oh my gosh.
Here we go.
Okay.
Buckle up, folks.
Buckle up. Okay. So I read Paid in Full by Vivian Murdoch. I looked this up, like I pulled it up and I was like, well, what's a hoo cow? Okay, let's just read this. It's short. It's like a 48-page novella. Oh my gosh. Look, if this is your kink, more power to you. But oh my Atlanta, Georgia. Okay. I thought it was bad when I read the Bigfoot book. This is interesting. Hoo cow stands for human cow. Okay. So this is about our heroine whose father had some gambling debts. So she is sold off to this underground, like, secret society kind of thing. And basically they decide to strap her up and make her their human cow. They make her lactate and they get her pregnant. And that is it. That is all this book is about. It's got some going on in there too. But yep, that was quite the ride. I gave it 2 stars because it was just so weird. So weird. Like, again, if it's your thing, cool. It was not for me. I was like, what is this?
Don't lie, Jessica. It was your favorite read of the year.
So it was. I mean, I've seen that term a couple times and I'm like, what the heck's a hoo cow? I learned what it is the hard way so that you guys don't have to.
I've seen that come up before, like when I've just been roaming through Kindle and I've seen those. Well, not necessarily that book, but the...
No. So it came up in the trilogy that I read, the Claiming Vanessa one. There's some really hilarious parts in that book because one of the guys is always joking. He's always like, oh, let's role play. He always wants to role play. And he keeps talking about hoo cow. And I'm like, what is he talking about? Because it's a joke between them, this hoo cow thing. I'm like, what is that? And then when I saw this and it was short novella, I was like, okay, it was recommended in a reader group. And I'm like, sure. And then I was like, whoa.
What type of reader group was that, Jessica?
My reader group. Anyhow. I'm gonna go back to my book. It was my reader group. Leave me alone.
You're surprised by the turn of events. That's the funniest part of that whole thing.
Hey, there are some great books. They have the breeding trope in them that are like legit good books. Okay, so stop it. That's also where I found out the Bigfoot book too. So maybe I should take the suggestions with a grain of salt.
Your credibility is spiraling downward.
I took a chance. It didn't quite work. Yeah, okay. Your turn. Please turn this around.
Okay, I'm going to, because my next book was a 5-star review and there was no human cows involved, but there was a ranch. Okay. So my book is called Texas Roses by Samantha Christie. It's the 3rd book in the Devil Horns Ranch series. This was a 5-star read for me. It is about Quinn and Amber, and they both are no repeats, if you know what I mean. That's their motto, no repeats.
Okay.
So Amber was adopted at birth, and her mom who adopted her passed away when she was 2, so she was raised by her dad. And she just kind of feels a little lost and doesn't really know where her family is because now her dad is sick and in a memory care facility. So she has met her biological mom, Piper, and she goes to Devil Horns Ranch for her biological mom's family. There's a wedding on the biological mom's side. So she's there trying to connect, but she just never really feels like she fits in. Quinn is there because he works at the ranch and he also has like some family drama and struggles a little bit with that as well. And they end up hooking up, no repeats, but some things happen and I can't give it away where she ends up not being able to leave the ranch like she thought she was going to. And so their no repeats turns into a like this amount of time we're going to be, you know, having fun and then you're leaving and we're done.
Okay.
But as I'm sure you know,
it's romance.
So it was really good. Really,
okay,
really good.
Good. Okay. So my next book, this is one that I really wanted to read for a while. And so I finally did it. So this is The Ritual by Chantal Tessier. This is a bigger, but like this is a popular book or more popular book. So this one is very interesting. It is like a secret society type. So this is takes place in college at this Barrington University. And our hero, his name, or not really a hero, but his name is Riot, and he has been there. He's a senior, and the first 3 years at this university, he's like he has to prove himself. Like they're not allowed to have sex because they're a part of this secret society in the college that their parents had belonged to, and all this other stuff. They're referred to as lords, and to become a lord, you have to do all these things. So they're not allowed to have sex for the first 3 years. They have to like do all these crazy things, and then in their senior year they are given what they call a chosen, and it is a girl that is theirs to do with as they please. Now all these girls and guys, they all have arranged marriages. This is not who they're arranged to marry in the end. This is just who they get for a year, and they have to do everything that the Lord wants them to do. Not all these girls are willing, and there is a lot of secret stuff that goes on here, but these are like where you get your president and all these things out of this group of lords, these guys. So it's very dark, I give it 4 stars. It was good. It was just a darker good, darker kinkier good, but yes, it was good. So yeah, go read that one.
Okay. Well, my next read was also very dark, and it was a 5-star read. It's called Merrick, and it is by S. Nelson. It's the first book in the Knights Corruption MC series. This is about Cole Merrick. He is the president of the Knights Corruption, and his rival club, they like hate each other, and these other guys, these Savage Reapers, are just like horrible. And they go in and ambush them and kidnap that president's daughter. Her name's Sully. And little does he know, by kidnapping Sully, he's actually rescuing her. So when she was 14, this is all like in the blurb, so I'm not giving anything away. When she was 14, her dad gave her to one of his club members, and she had already been like pretty horrifically abused by her father. And then when he gave her to this guy, he's like, Vex was just awful and horrifically abused her as well. Like, it's pretty dark and pretty hard to read at times about the stuff that happened to her. And so this is Sully and Merrick's story. It has a very good ending, but it is pretty dark. But I really enjoyed this.
I either have that on my TBR or I actually have it on my Kindle. I just need to read it.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah. I'm actually started reading the second book.
Good. Yay.
Yeah. So that wraps up all mine. You have one more?
I have one more. So our last book. So I read Gorgeous Monster by Charity Farrell. So this is a best friend's dad mafia romance. So this is about Christian, who is our hero, and you have Natalia, who is our heroine. Now, Natalia has dated another mafia dude. I don't know why all these mafia dudes want her, but she was dating this other mafia dude from a mafia rival family. Apparently, you're not allowed to break up with them. You're not allowed to end a relationship with them. She ends her relationship with this guy, and he puts a hit out on her. Now, her best friend's father is the mafia don to another mafia family. Again, I don't understand how she knows all these mafia people. But anyhow, so she goes to Christian for help to keep her safe. And he decides that the only way that he can keep her safe after trying to give her up and like give her back to the people, but he decides that he is going to marry her and keep her. And that is how he keeps her safe. So this is their story. I read it last night. I gave it 3 stars. It was enjoyable, but I felt it was way too rushed. There wasn't enough details. There wasn't enough info to really keep me extremely interested. It wasn't the longest read. I mean, I listened to it. It took me like 2 hours. But yeah, it was okay. It was all right. It was okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Before we go, I just need to express my entire frustration with women in books that don't know that while they're on birth control and taking an antibiotic, that their birth control might fail.
Yeah.
I have read in the last few weeks so many books where the girl's like, oh, I'm on birth control, it's fine. And then bam.
Look, and here's the other deal. If you don't take it, if you don't take it daily, it don't work right either. Just ask my middle child, okay? So here's your PSA, people. Use something else.
I don't know. Maybe we should do a video on things that irritate us in books, but I'm just so
I think that's like
common
sense, like this common knowledge. And doctors tell you when you get are you on birth control? Yes. Okay. You're going to have to use a backup method. Okay. Here's your antibiotics. Okay. And anyhow.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. So guys, thank you so much for watching.
Make sure to check back on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays for new videos from us.
And we'll see you guys in the next video.